Hello, John.
I'm having a hard time connecting this to your actual talk. So I'm going to take it on as you are a defender of humanism.
Yes.
In this case. Recently there have been a couple of very good books which have been critical of humanism. In one case I can remember the name of the author, the British philosopher John Gray. In the other case I remember the name of the book, I Don't Believe in Atheism. Both cite the suggestion that one of them refers to as extreme humanists are utopian. They believe that progress is not only possible but inevitable, that progress is real, that we are progressing towards some goal in the future, and that is very bad thinking. That is, both those writers discuss that. Both of them say it has its origins in religious belief, but it's been carried over
to secular society.
Secular humanism.
Yeah.
So I want your...
Going back to my position, these tend to be these tend to be in some ways the people who are the optimists, that good things have to happen, that we're going that way. I'm not one of those, but I'm not the pessimist, think that we're all just going to hell. That seems to be short-sighted. So my nihilism say, you know what, good things have a better chance of happening if we use reason, science, and freedom of inquiry in every area of human endeavor. It's nice to have these. This is called distributed intelligence. You put these signs around so you can see them when you need to at the right time. But let me throw out this notion within the idea of progress. I think of it this way in terms of H-E-L-P, because there's a book called The Progress Paradox. In the progress paradox, the person points out something interesting. First of all, we are healthier than we've ever been as human beings. Okay? We also, we're better educated than we've ever been as a world. We live longer than we've ever lived, and we've got more possibilities than we have. And related to that, Steven Pinker points out that even including the 2 world wars, and if you take Europe as a whole, the chance of being murdered were much less if you lived in Europe than if you lived in the rainforest or some other place. He's been criticized for saying that, but he says it continually and provides some statistics to show that. So in certain ways, there have been improvements that have been made in the world. The other side is, it's a really dangerous situation, and you can do a lot more evil with a fewer number of people. So we've got those elements. But I think it's naive to think that progress is inevitable. But I think it's cowardly to think it's not possible. So that'd be my response to that.
Earlier you seemed to imply that humans were anesthetizing themselves from the world because we're not very good smellers. But how can you say that when we're not designed to smell? We have an incredibly rich vision that's unlike almost all other creatures. Like we have a color vision, which most mammals don't have. We have a skull designed for deep set eyes and frontal facing eyes, and even the nerves going through your neck with your hyoid bone are there for us to see. And the orbicularis oculi, by far the most active muscle group in our body.
I think we're wonderful that way.
And even the posture, it's a sea of up and down like that. And how can you just say we're anesthetizing because we don't smell things?
Don't we miss something in life if we're not smelling? People go, I don't want to smell that. But I think smell, at least I found for myself, as I opened up to a sense of smell, I go, I didn't realize that could smell that way. And I found, as I dealt with smell that way, it also affected my sense of taste as I'm eating things. So I think there is an effect that way. Anesthetize, but there is a sense in which we are afraid of our body odors. We may be
we're not very good at them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So are we now losing something by covering those things up?
We have an area of our brain just for distinguishing faces, and no other creature has it. We can distinguish the tiniest differences and see other people and distinguish. And that's other animals use smell because they don't have that area of the brain. They don't have a neocortex. Yeah. And so we've developed a better way.
I agree.
And I don't know. It's the human way to do things.
I think so. But is it the human way to try to now make sure we don't smell anything? When we go to other, when I'm in other cultures, the smells are different. But people come to our house and houses now in North America. Shh, we will put this spray around. I'm just saying, doesn't it seem to us that we're trying to cover up some things and we're somehow afraid of more earthy sort of smells?
I think it's because pheromones don't really work on humans anymore. They did a test where if you spray them on sheep, they'll just immediately have sex.
Yeah.
But humans half the time don't even notice it. Like, they've done some tests and find that some people do become more attracted, but not all humans do. So it seems vestigial. We can complexify and diversify our sensory organs.
Okay. Does anybody else want to speak to the sense of smell? Yes.
Just to say something about smell in a biological way. Smell is really important in connecting people from opposite sex. I mean, it's a study that had been published, I don't remember how many years ago, and they said that our body odors showed the other person our immune system. And when you have two different immune systems, they attract each other because we need this
Genetic diversity.
Yeah.
genetic diversity. So I think
Other animals are better at it, and humans have like
You know
other
what?
things to compensate.
every
Smells
animal,
the most basic.
every life has its own specialized things. I mean, there are some birds that have a wonderful vision underwater. You, as a human, you go underwater. I mean, you're unable to do
We
anything.
need a mask.
Yeah.
Let me ask this. Anybody have any smell that if you lost that smell, you would feel like the world would have lost something important? Yes. What's the smell?
Like all food, flour.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're just talking about when you go to Hawaii, even in Honolulu, with all the traffic, you can still smell flowers.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful. Now, those of us with allergies have some trouble with that. But but the sense of smell, I think, is important. It's true that we don't tend to use it as much, but I think we're losing something if we don't use what we got.
It's absolutely wonderful, but I felt that you didn't explain that we have like other
Oh, yeah.
amazing features rather than just talking
There's
about
actually,
the
in the
negative.
book, the Natural History of the Senses, they have a very interesting section on perfume. And they have professional smellers with the perfume and how they work and what they can sense. I just think, wow, to be able to make those differentiations in terms
Was
of sense of
that
smell.
written by a female poet, and the last chapter is Synth Anesthesia? Anesthesia?
Yeah, Diana.
Because I think I have that, and I
Yeah.
read it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think it's very rich. That's all I
It is, it's a great book.
Okay.
Yes, I want to say thanks. I appreciate your talk, and especially the parts on appreciation. And you sort of addressed what I was going to ask you about when you mentioned Pinker's history of violence and looking at even that things are okay. I guess my question is generally about the suffering in the world.
Yeah.
That I can focus on positive things of being appreciative, but this huge realm of suffering does cause me concern. And on some level, the concern is useful because then it motivates me to do something. And how I've sort of come to grips with it to a certain extent is you think in absolutes to get you motivated, but you think in percentages to sleep at night. Because for the most part, percentage-wise, say there's less people in slavery, or less this, there's less that. But if you look at the absolutes, it just go crazy.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering how you might go about it, dealing with, current food crisis, 100 million
Well,
people.
I just came from the killing fields in Cambodia. And you go there, and it's a very, very sobering place. And you see the tree where they used to kill babies. They'll just swing the babies into the tree trunk. And you go, that's horrible. That's horrific. And what I realize as a pragmatist, if I get overwhelmed with those thoughts, I'm not going to be able to do any more good in the world. So Richard Rorty, who I tend to like and other people have trouble with, but Rorty had an interesting point. He says a key question is, metaphysicians, Rorty said, tends to ask the question, what's the truth? He said he was an ironist. The question that he always asked was, what's the alternative? So I think I find myself always asking that question. So when I find myself overwhelmed, I say, okay, I need to let it sink in and understand that it's not going to get better if action isn't taken. So I guess I live with it that way. But this is not meant to be a Pollyanna point of view. It can be, what did Thomas Hobbes say? Life is nasty, brutish, and short. One teacher said, the same thing could be said about my students.